we do have Saint Lapia's prayer stone infused with God Vesper's powers. Even though its divinity was not fully completed, it should be more than enough to make your idea become a reality. Utilize the power of the god to heal the people, while also collecting qualified samples for ourselves. Right?
Yes. We are limited to individuals with similar appearance and personality right now. But as our knowledge and sample size grow, it will be different. Our domain will be filled with controlled people who excel in their work. And once that day arrives, Akros will truly reach its golden age. This is what it means to truly serve your nation as a loyal noble. His Majesty also acknowledges the need for Exir in order to achieve this goal.
Hold on. Are you an outsider? I have something to ask you. Have you seen a masked woman who's about this tall? I was supposed to meet her today. I can't really tell you the details. What? How did you know my name? Wait, are you the smuggler Lisbeth mentioned? The one who's supposed to be helping us? Where's Lissy? Is she at the mansion right now? But they already know. This place is dangerous. Lizzie shouldn't come here. Lizzie is in the outside world? And she's waiting for me there? I shouldn't have worried. It would have been better for me to just leave first, like my friend suggested. I'm so stupid. Rune Hunter, are you sure Lizzie is waiting for me outside? She's really out there, right? Then, if that's the case, I'll believe you. Because Lizzie is a terrible liar. I'll get going now. Thanks for your help, and thank you for delivering Lizzie's goodbye.
This place is filled with ancient texts and rare spellbooks. To my surprise, there are even texts that have been banned from Trom. What's interesting is that a lot of the spellbooks here focus on managing one's memory. In this book, there's even a spell that is used to transfer one's memory to another. Based on the content of these books, It seems like the nobles of Arcris have been using various spells to manipulate the memories of their experimental subjects. They were awarded with their nobility and territory after the Zodiac War ended, just because they served their nation, which is why I think this is all the more likely to happen.
There are countless rumors surrounding Count Zid and the other 5 nobles of Arcris. Unlike ordinary nobles who lead separate lives even if they live within the same domain, the nobles of Arcris all live together within a single mansion, Kylum. Which is why there have been claims of them being tied by blood relations, but the nobles of Arcris have remained silent regarding all suspicions.
How come the residents are ignoring me? Aren't you the one who's supposed to manage their memories, Messier? Let me make things clear. We're equals. I don't deserve this sort of treatment. Have you gone mad from becoming intoxicated with Exer?
This is getting ridiculous. What would I get out of manipulating that? Don't try to place the blame on me for your inferiority complex, you wretch. And speaking of Exer, what makes you so different from me, Iselin? Is there anyone here who can live on without the help of Exer? Don't be a hypocrite.
Messier, that's enough. If you think like that, we would all be considered hypocrites. Our mission for Arcris is only an excuse to hide our greed for eternal life.
Yes, and I'm at the top of that hypocrisy. I ended up like this because of Exir, yet I continue to drink it regularly in order to maintain my life.
Cruz, Zeno, both of you shut it.
I truly did not expect you to make it this far alive. How did you like the surprises we prepared for you? Once you climb the flight of stairs beyond this point, you'll reach the 3rd floor. Viscount Cruz is waiting for you, so do try to hurry. But before that, I've prepared a gift fitting for trifles such as yourselves. I won't allow you to leave before you receive it. Here, this was prepared just for you. Please enjoy.
Once upon a time, there was a... Once upon a time, there was a crippled lady by the name of Aranea. Aranea had a pair of beautiful dress shoes. She wanted to wear them to a dance once her legs healed. Every year, when the annual ball was held, Aranea prayed to the stars, wishing for her legs to be healed. But the stars remained indifferent, and the evening air was cold. Frail Aranea eventually fell ill and never woke up from her hospital bed. But until the very end, Aranea caressed her shoes and prayed to the stars so that she could wear them in her next life, even if she had to become a spider to wear them.
An old storybook was found at the library. Gazing into the cover of the book, you figured out that the crippled lady in the book was actually Aranea herself, the test subject you had defeated earlier. It was sad that Aranea never got to wear her shoes. But the real Aranea, who had turned into a monster, truly seemed happy. You left the room while imagining Aranea happily dancing away in her never-ending dream ball.
We finally found the staircase leading upstairs. If the steward wasn't lying, Viscount Cruz should be waiting for us up ahead. We've already been through a lot. This might be an opportune moment to reorganize. I also need some time to gather my thoughts. I received a message from the hospital that it's almost time for us to check out. I'm worried, since I wasn't able to come up with a secondary plan for us yet. I tried my best to cure Pan back in Advena, but I was never able to improve his condition as drastically as they did here in Ordemus. Which is why I want you to try your best to strike up a deal with Viscount Cruz if you find him. I'll stay behind in the hospital to come up with an alternative plan.
Who's there?
You're a familiar face. I didn't expect to see you again. I'm sure Cruz said that he was gonna take care of you quietly, but this is rather loud for my taste. How classless of him. Well, it's fine. I don't really care for keeping my class now. Even that only matters when you want to keep your life by defying death. But there is no end for me. So what's the point of staying dignified? Don't you agree? All right, run along and find Cruz. If you're lucky, you might be able to see a lot of interesting things along the way. May Vesper watch over your path.
Doctors of Arcris in the past have developed a unique medical technique based off of alchemy. Just as alchemy utilized the 4 elements to combine and create new materials, these doctors aim to overcome death and create life by controlling bones, blood, muscles, and nerves. However, these techniques were prohibited after the Zodiac War because they directly opposed the intended nature of divinities, and all of the texts that included this knowledge were burned away.
Iselin, there is absolutely nothing Messier has over you. It's not like our lives depend on those experiments. We do have the hospital. I'm sure Zid will need someone to help him at the hospital. And if you become that person, no one will look down upon you.
The outsiders who seek to bring down Arcris are being invited to Kylum. The Viscount has emphasized the importance of getting rid of the outsiders, no matter the cost. In order to ensure this job gets done, we will be mobilizing all the guards who were usually not positioned within the mansion, while also gathering creatures by using Illus lamps. Those outsiders dare to challenge the authority of Arcris nobles? Nonsense. If it wasn't for them, Arcris would still be in ruins. I will not allow this as the steward of Kylum. I will do everything in my power to aid their efforts. What are you doing? If my eyes aren't fooling me, it seems like you just read my diary without permission. You already caused a mess at the hospital and the mansion, and now you're barging in on the servants' quarters? Looks like you just gave me the excuse to kick you out. Is anyone outside? Take this person out this instant. Fine. Do whatever you want. Viscount Cruz will be the one to punish you. He will avenge me for this humiliation. I don't want to continue talking with a petty thief like you. Get lost, and get your dirty hands off of my diary.
I really do hate children, especially 15-year-olds. Teenagers at that age are just incomplete, mediocre at everything. Ever since I turned like this, everyone's been treating me like a child. They just got lucky with the side effects. Fine. If I can't return to my original form, I'll enjoy it. As much as I hate this look, I'll torture harder to wipe out the others.
What makes a human a true human? The answer is guilt. But as of today, I have decided to abandon my guilt. Guilt is unnecessary for the eternal master of Arcrus. Just like how the god Vesper has neglected us for all these years. Remember, Zid, you are no longer the commoner who dreamed of becoming an officer. You shall rule for all eternity as the master of Arcrus.
This is all pointless. There is no meaning to this life. Title, domain, they're all lies filled with hypocrisy.
Viscount Cruz, please try to value your life. The true path is not visible, but within our hearts. The time you spend with this sword will reflect your heart.
It has been over 200 years since I've become this ridiculous being, under the false pretense of rebuilding Akras from the ruins of war. I've loathed myself for choosing to become this thing, and as time passed, nobility has been the only thing that defined me. That is why, despite how disgusting the surrounding world may be, I had to do my best to protect all of the nobles. Like a star, trapped within an eternal orbit, I will not go easy on you. I must have vastly underestimated your powers. Very well, I admit it. You too are desperate to protect those you cherish. But the situation is already underway. No matter how hard you struggle, you're with the war criminal. Everyone in Akras will be pointing their finger at you.
You! It relieves me to see that you're still safe. I had to make my way over here because I was worried for your well-being. I see things didn't work out with Viscount Cruz. That is completely fine, as long as you're unharmed. He was once a promising talent, skilled in both sword and magic. You should be proud of holding your ground against someone like him. And no need to worry. I believe I found a way for us to take care of Pan. You must be exhausted. Let us head back to the hospital together. Good work.
Viscount Cruz. Viscount Cruz, I received word that you read a book about death again yesterday. Quite a lot of time has passed since that incident, but I still fear that you will leave us without warning one day. Viscount Cruz, I dare not speak of life and death in your presence, which is why I am writing this letter to you.
When you pushed away Cruz, a letter fell out of his inner pocket. As you read through the letter, you could tell how anxious Gary felt about Cruz leaving him behind due to the choice he had made in the past. But because Gary chose to use the words life and death, you began to speculate upon Cruz's past, only to become more disturbed at all of the possibilities.
Say, didn't you have a question for me earlier? Why do you seem so hesitant? Feel free to ask me anything you want. Huh? What are you talking about? A war criminal? I had no idea they would brand me with such a dishonorable title. I can see that you're confused, but I promise you, I never did such a thing. Can you imagine me destroying Artemis? What nonsense. Of course, I did believe in preventing the completion of the Zodiac, and participated in the war by siding with Trier. I cannot forget the day I accidentally completed the Zodiac while trying to carry out my duties. It was the price I paid for exploiting the power of runes to their fullest potential. That was when Dex awakened, as if he was telling me that I made the wrong choice. After that day, I traveled to Bellatus to atone for my sins. I can't tell you any more regarding this topic due to my oath with Count Zid, but you know me better than anyone right now. Please, trust me.
Dear Artemis, we will not kneel before any hardship we face. Recall the teachings that were shared by Vesper, that this decline shall be the basis for a brilliant beginning, and that one must pass the darkness of death in order for life to start burning again. Now, we will all become...
Are you sure this is okay? Who knows what will happen?
Artemis is in the land of the god Vesper. There is no way Vesper will neglect our prayers.
I already got the Saint's Prayer Stone from the King before coming here. No matter the result, there's nowhere for us to run.
Zid. Hurry up.
The king has ordered us to summon our god Vesper by using the divinity drawn from St. Lapia's prayers. Oh, dear Vesper, please watch over us, your faithful.
What happened here? What's that monster? The mage officers were supposed to hear the revelation of our god Vesper through the prayer stone. But is this really the work of Vesper? Then why are they attacking us right now? If it really is Vesper, shouldn't we be experiencing salvation instead?
Damn it! I had no idea. All of our predictions completely off. Almost as if those strange creatures are here to bring down judgment on us. Blocked off the paths to prevent Triad forces retreating, but our soldiers are the ones being hurt instead. We must open up the path for our soldiers to retreat.
Everyone's rotting away as soon as they come in contact with those creatures. I thought we came out here out of formality to negotiate. We only joined this war to tell the others of the danger of completing the Zodiac. That evil could make a comeback through its completion. I didn't even get to say goodbye to my kids. If I end up dying here, how will my family live on without me? Ah, dear Sefnar, please show mercy towards your children.
We've already lost too many people here. I will not allow any more sacrifices to be made. We have to get out of here as soon as possible, even if we have to abandon the fortress. Are you listening? Get a hold of yourself. I will tell you again. Make a full retreat, right now.
This is what my end looks like for trying to fight against that monster. It doesn't matter where. Just run before you end up like me. I don't know what to believe now. Why has our God abandoned us and our beliefs? All of the countless hours I've spent praying. Why would God repay me like this?
I've been waiting, Rune Hunter. I don't want to admit it, but you have an excellent physique. There wasn't anyone who could stop that ending until now. Thanks to the aftermath of that battle, the past we have created for external use has been cracked. I did not expect this to happen at all. But I believe everything strengthens to become harder after cracking. That is our view, and the way of life. Count Zid is looking for you because of this. I'm sure you have a lot to say as well. Hurry back to the hospital.
"10 years ago, when I met Salvis after a long time, we spoke about saving a friend, even if he had to sacrifice himself to do it. And I provided him with what he needed, and gladly used his heart to establish order within Arcras. Just like how we became nobles, by hiding the fact that the king was the one who brought ruin upon this nation with his terrible decision. Certain sacrifices are required in order to establish a stable order. Reality has taught us that even the truth will fade away with enough time. Whether it is to save someone else, or because of your pitiful justice, you seem to need to establish yourself a new order. Then why don't we do this? If you promise to never speak about everything you've seen, we will promise to do what we can for your dear friend. And if you're willing to accept this offer, vow upon it. You will vow with your blood, and I with mine. Well, I look forward to this.
I've been waiting forever for you. So, where's Miel? Did you find him? They were lying about my brother's death, right? Where is he? The plague? Are you sure about that? That can't be true. You must have made a mistake. This was the bracelet Miel had on him. I was the one who made it. This can't be. Then, my brother is really dead. I didn't want to believe it. He was so bright and healthy. I was going to hug him to my heart's content when he came back. What should I tell my parents? I have to go back empty-handed now. Why? Why is this happening to us? Miel!
So that's what happened. An altered record within the memory rune? I had no idea they exploited my oath with them like that. As you have seen for yourself, Artemis was once at the brink of destruction for trying to use the power of Vesper out of a foolish judgment. Vesper's power that had been summoned eventually faded away with time. But it took ages before the plagued lands of Artemis could fully recover. I had become a war criminal without being aware of it. But I do not regret the decision I made 10 years ago. Even if everyone points their finger at me, I am satisfied with having protected the one I had cherished at the time. Pan finally has a safe place to recover, thanks to you, which is why I'm bringing this up now. I believe we must tell the other Zodiac Masters of Trom about what happened back in Bellatus. The strange phenomenon occurring throughout Trom are due to the resurrection of serpents. And in order to stop serpents for good, we need the help of the other Zodiac Masters. Countless rune hunters have helped us out back at Saludo. But now that Serpents has fully recovered its true form, there's no telling what could happen next. Count Zid has offered to support you with his mercenary for this mission. Don't worry about us. I will make sure Pan stays safe here.
With the oath of blood you have made with Zid, Pan was allowed to continue his treatment in St. Lapis Hospital. You sincerely prayed for Pan to fully recover from his condition, as he was now under the care of reliable medical staff. Meanwhile, Salvus suggested on searching for the other Zodiac Masters to spread the word about Serpent's resurrection. In order to guarantee the success of your mission, Zid has offered his mercenary, Kana, to accompany you in your journey. The other Zodiac Master of Trom supposedly resides in Hira, the nation of cloud and mists. The fastest route that leads to Hira is by sailing across the sea. Kana will be your guide to the port city located in the maritime nation of Ganida.
As Pan remained unconscious, you carried him over to St. Lapia Hospital, located in Ordemus. All of the patients who check into this hospital are assigned a dedicated nurse before starting treatment. However, because of recent issues at the graveyard, all of the available nurses were dispatched, and there was no telling when Pan would be assigned a nurse for himself. You followed Salvis's advice and headed over to the graveyard to see if there was anything you could do to help out. There, you discovered that the dead were rising from their graves to threaten the living. Hearing this news, Salvis has asked you to investigate the issue to see if Serpens' resurrection at Bellatus has influenced Trom as well. As you progressed forward while helping out the gravekeepers and nurses in danger, you noticed a strange creature that looked similar to the ones from Advina in the past. But as Salvis mentioned, the plagued ones from Advina were mutated due to Vesper's powers instead of Serpens. Thus, you drew the conclusion that something other than Serpens is involved in this issue. Your efforts from the graveyard finally paid off, as Pan was assigned a dedicated nurse. But during this process, you were faced with a rather uncomfortable situation. St. Lapia Hospital is located inside Arcris, a territory ruled by 5 different nobles. And one of the nobles, Iselin, has shown quite the hostility towards Salvis and has asked you to remove him from the territory. As you stood flustered by Iselin's demand, Nurse Eugenia explained that Salvis is considered a war criminal in Ordemus. He was responsible for the destruction of Ordemus 200 years ago, when the Zodiac War first erupted in Arcris. You were confused by her story, but you decided to prioritize helping those who were still stuck inside the graveyard. Arriving at the site, you quickly realized how bad the situation had gotten, with all of the Ordemus veterans of the Zodiac War rising from their graves. After returning to the hospital, Nurse Eugenia has recommended you check out the memory runes that are available for access at the War Memorial to personally experience what happened during the Zodiac War. As you laid your hand on a memory rune, you were sucked into the memory of an Ordemus soldier who participated in the Zodiac War 200 years ago. You began your time-traveling journey of the Zodiac War, during which endless tides of Traia forces stormed Arcris to bring down the fortress. You witnessed countless Ordemus soldiers being brutally killed or captured as prisoners. From this experience, you were able to draw the conclusion that Traia tried to destroy Ordemus with overwhelming force in order to prevent the completion of the Zodiac. As requested by a soldier of Ordemus, you decided to help the Ordemus forces regain control of Arcris Fortress by breaking through the blockade to secure a path. You boldly raised the flag of Ordemus, left behind by Traia forces, to raise the morale of your fellow comrades. As you entered Arcris Fortress, you were faced with the Ordemus forces in a standoff against the Traia forces. The soldiers of Ordemus bravely fought in battle, despite being low in numbers. But no one was strong enough to face the monster that was summoned by Salvis. But when you stepped up to defeat the monster, the space that was created within the memory rune started shaking. As you closely observed the discrepancy, Iselin suddenly summoned you back into reality and informed you of Zid's request to meet you in regard to Salvis's status. During the meeting with all of the Arcris nobles, including Count Zid, Salvis offered to hand over the sacred arms of Vesper that was found in Bellatus in exchange for Pan's treatment. But Zid declined the offer by saying that the nobles have nothing to gain from the sacred arms. You were given an ultimatum to leave St. Lapia Hospital with Pan within a week's time. While Salvis was out looking for a different hospital, Gillip came to visit you after hearing your story from the Gravekeepers. His brother was recently announced dead after being infected by the plague, but he continued to question their decision, saying that his brother was perfectly healthy up until a few days ago. You decided to keep an eye out for the situation, thinking that this issue could possibly be used in renegotiating the terms of your stay with the hospital. You were disturbed by all of the records that depicted details of human experiments and memory manipulations from the abandoned experiment logs. While you were learning more about the appearance of Gillip's brother, Miel, you couldn't recall any corpses that resembled him in the areas you had already searched and decided to delve deeper. You found more. You decided to keep this shocking truth to yourself and indirectly questioned Salvis about the nobles of Arcris. But he too did not know what the nobles were doing behind the closed curtains of Arcris. You returned underground You and Salvis were formally invited to join crews at their noble mansion, Kylum. But along the way, Salvis noticed that the creatures were purposefully gathered along the forest path. For a chance to negotiate a deal with crews at the roof, you ventured further into the mansion and reached the second floor. There, while heading towards the upper levels of the mansion, you ran into Messier, who was calmly smoking her exer. As she said, there were a lot of interesting things along the way towards Cruz. All of the past memories of the nobles were scattered across each of their rooms. You assume that even though after finishing the duel against Cruz, you insisted Salvis explain about Cruz's comment of Salvis being a war criminal. Salvis admitted that he participated in the Zodiac War, but denied the nobles of Arcris had summoned the power of Vesper through St. Lapia's prayer stone. But Vesper's plague did not differentiate ally from foes, devastating all life while corrupting the lands. Based on these changes, you drew a new conclusion that Traya was actually visiting Arcris to negotiate new terms. Zid has offered to make an oath with you, as he has done in the past with the King of Ordemus and Salvis as well. As long as you kept your mouth shut about the truth of Ordemus, Zid has offered to treat Pan. You accepted the offer. You were curious to find out what sort of an oath Salvis had made with Zid. But Salvis accepted being treated as a war criminal because he was able to protect what was dear to him with the oath, and you chose not.
Viscount